Hello explorers, today we're swapping solid ground for the open skies and it's gonna be epic. Ever wonder what it's like to fly like a bird over some of the most beautiful mountains on Earth? Today I'm not just dreaming it, I'm doing it. We're paragliding up and away over the breathtaking Dolomites in Italy, right over the heart of the stunning 𝗙𝗪𝗯𝗀 Mountains. And the views from up there are nothing short of jaw-dropping. Now I gotta be honest, heights and I, well, let's just say we're not the best of friends. But hey, you know you're doing something epic when fear starts kicking in, right? So buckle up because this episode is all about conquering fears and soaking in some of the most incredible views on Earth. Let's go. Who better to help me conquer my fear of heights than the pros at Gardena Fly? These guys have over 30 years of experience, not just in tandem paragliding, but also with an impressive track record in international competitions. I mean, we're talking about flying with the best here. Because this was my first paragliding ever, I went with the Taste of Freedom experience, perfect for newbies like me who want to ease into the skies. And let me tell you, it was worth every second. I also opted for the GoPro add-on, which turned out to be a lifesaver because my pilot was able to capture most of the flight, and I'm so grateful he did because while I have my own GoPro, I accidentally set it on the time-lapse setting. The cool thing about it is you're going to get the high-speed version of what it's like to be paragliding from my own point of view. And I'm grateful to have it to share with adventurers like you. Now, if you haven't seen my episode on e-biking in the 𝗙𝗪𝗯𝗀, the highest alpine pasture in Europe, be sure to check it out so you can see how this magical landscape looks like from the ground and compare it to the bird's eye view we're about to get. Since our meeting point is on top of a mountain, I get to soak in all of the nervous anticipation, getting on the gondola and making my way up the mountain. This is a lot higher than I thought it would be. I bet the landing's like kind of down over there, so you probably could have go around like that, I bet. I have all trust in my pilot, Peter. This is where my control freak starts to kick in and hide the slight panic. Here I am trying to figure out the details of something I know absolutely nothing about. Now, everywhere where I'm looking is a pretty short place to run and jump, but hey, this is living. Why am I doing this to myself? So now we're just waiting for pilot Peter. We're also very early, which is probably a sign of nerves and trying to be prepared, but now it's just waiting in anticipation. Let's do this. Let me introduce you to my guide, Peter. He's not only a certified pro with Aero Club Italy, get this, he is also a former Red Bull X Games competitor. If you don't know the sport, you gotta check it out. The Red Bull X Games are an annual competition in the European Alps where you take the best paragliders in the world that will literally run up mountains and then paraglide off of them, racing for hundreds of miles at a time. Between you and me, I think once Peter found out I was a fan of the Red Bull X Games, he was aiming to find every thermal he could to give me the best experience. Now, if you have a fear of heights, I will forewarn you that the hardest part about paragliding isn't the actual paragliding itself, it's the anticipation. There's so much time where you are waiting for the guide to get everything ready. He's getting the parachute set, he's laying it out on the ground, he's checking the winds, waiting for the right time for takeoff, and in the meantime, you have a waiver in front of you where you get an opportunity to sign your life away before making this decision to go up into the skies. And while you're waiting for all of this, the butterflies in the stomach keep growing and growing.
We are ready to go. Right?
Let's do it. Awesome. When you're paragliding tandem style, the one thing that you absolutely have to get right is the takeoff, because you and your guide are running together and you have to run together in sync at a similar speed to help get enough speed to get the paragliding off on the ground when the timing is just right. Because the more speed that you get, the better your takeoff is and the higher up that you're going to get. This was one of the most exhilarating feelings I've ever had. Once you feel yourself lifting up into the air, it's like all of a sudden you're carried by the wind and you're just going higher and higher and higher. And we got so lucky catching amazing thermals. So all of a sudden I'm looking around and the very same mountains that I was just e-biking on a few days ago, I'm now literally at a bird's eye level with them. This is incredible.
You like it?
It's amazing. It's the best feeling. husband had one of the best views from the house as he is watching me from ground level, screaming like a maniac, not sure if I'm either terrified or having the ride of my life.
Yeah!
Now, if you're wondering why would someone with a fear of heights want to go paragliding, honestly, it's because I wanted to get that perspective. What is it like to be able to see the earth from this experience where it literally is you, the paraglider, and your guide, and nothing but the open air? You're literally sitting on practically an airbag in someone else's lap with your feet dangling from the air while you take it all in. And the thing that really surprised me the most about it is once we got up in the air, after that initial gut-wrenching feeling of taking off, it was nothing but peace and euphoria.
I love it. I hope you don't mind my screaming. I'm just excited. I'm not scared.
The paragliding gods were on our side today too, because we kept catching thermal after thermal after thermal, so we could just feel the elevation get higher and higher, having these amazing panoramic views of the whole Dolomite region. And all the way down Spekka below, these incredible little villages and mountain towns. Tandem paragliding is a really cool experience because not only do you get this perspective, you get to have it all taken care of for you in the hands of an expert guide. Peter was amazing. Not only was he the pilot, not only was he monitoring the winds and the thermals and the directions and the elevation gain that we were taking, but all along the way I was able to ask him questions. I was so curious to learn more about what it's like to be a pilot. How many rides has he done? Thousands, by the way, might I add. What it's like to learn how to become a paraglider, and along the way, just completely laughing my face off. Paragliding is a different experience for everyone, but for me, it was euphoric. For me, it just felt like this incredible emotional release, this freedom. It was like there was nothing else in the world to think about other than being high up there in this experience. And not only do you get the amazing vista views of the mountains and the pastures and villages down below, but as we started descending down further and further, we had the opportunity to literally graze along the tree line and just take in all of the forest below us. Every single turn that we made on this experience, you just felt like you were seeing the world with completely new eyes, like seeing it for the first time. One of the reasons why I did it wasn't to chase an adrenaline rush. I'm not someone that's been drawn to experiences like bungee jumping or skydiving. What I was actually chasing was something different. I was actually chasing this ability to feel this stillness, to feel what it feels like to fly, to feel what it feels like to allow a fear to completely melt away. And if this is something that you have thought about doing, it is my hope for you that in sharing this experience, that if you've had any desire to go paragliding in your life, but anytime you've looked at it and you thought, oh, I'm not sure I can do that, your inner voice is actually telling you that you can. That fear that you have, what I learned is when I told myself, I don't know if I can do this, it actually showed me that there was a deeper desire that not only could I do it, but I wanted to do it, and I wanted to see what it felt like on the other side. And if you get an opportunity to allow an expert pilot like Peter to do some amazing dive bomb side-to-side maneuvers and to feel what it's like to allow the paraglide to take these beautiful sharp turns just before the descent, do it. This was probably the most terrifying part of the experience for me because you're feeling your stomach lurch in and out as you change directions from left to right. And you'll hear in the audio, I'm actually saying to Peter, enough, I'm done. But he thought I was saying, okay, I'm good, keep going. And I'm actually so glad he did. I'm so glad that he completely misinterpreted what I was saying because I would have missed out on that feeling after.
Whoa, okay, I'm good. Enough. No, I can keep going.
If we had landed and we had played it safe, just doing the nice gentle glide all the way down, I would have missed that adrenaline rush in the end.
Wow. Again.
This is probably the most feel-good adventure I have ever done in my life. And it's the feeling that after I had that experience, I wanted to hold on to it as much as I can. It actually taught me not just how to overcome a fear of heights, but how can I actually live my life more like that? How can I live my life more in that state of just unadulterated joy? If I only had one day in the Dolomites, this is the experience that I would choose hands down. Because there's no greater feeling in the world than the feeling that that experience gave me. To help make planning this adventure easy for you, I've also put the link to Gardena Fly in the description as well as in the pinned comment here. So you have an opportunity to go right there and see what they're all about. And I'd love to hear from you. Have you thought about paragliding but have been too nervous to do it? Did you overcome the fear and get to experience it in a beautiful part of the world? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what your experience was like and what you loved about today's episode. Thanks for taking a ride in the skies with me. I have a feeling this isn't going to be the only paragliding experience I do, so stay tuned for upcoming episodes. In the meantime, wherever the adventure of life takes you, seek that joy and overcome whatever fears might be getting in your way. I'm your host, Jen Ahana. I appreciate you being on the journey with me, and I'll look forward to seeing where our adventure goes next. Hey, thanks so much for watching today's episode. Take a second and like this video, then subscribe to Explore This so you can get notified on when the next episodes come out where we're going to be seeking adventure, tasting the world, and discovering everything. So excited to have you with me. I'm your host, Jen Ahana, and I will see you next time.
Thanks for being on the journey with me.